Hey guys, Loading Gears here. In celebration of Metal Gear Solid 5 coming out, I wanted to do a roundup of the story for people who may not be familiar with it, because I've noticed a lot of people I know who are going to buy it have not actually been a long-time fan of the series. So this video is for anyone who might play the Phantom Pain, but may not be aware of the ridiculously long, convoluted story. Okay, here we go. The story starts with Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Even though this was the 5th game to be made, it was in fact the first game in the story. It was released in 2004, but it was based in 1964 during the Cold War. In this game, Naked Snake, a young experienced soldier working for the CIA special ops group called Fox, infiltrates a facility in Russia to rescue a scientist named Nikolai Stepanovich Sokolov. And yes, Naked Snake is indeed a codename. Sokolov was a Russian scientist who defected to America, but was sent back to Russia as part of a deal America made with Russia in order to prevent a crisis during the Cuban Missile Crisis. The game states that this was the real reason why the Cuban Missile Crisis was averted. This is something you'll notice about Metal Gear. It likes to mess around with history, which is part of its charm in my opinion. Anyways, this mission was called the Virtuous mission, and it served as a prologue to Metal Gear Solid 3, much like Ground Zeroes to Metal Gear Solid 5. In this mission, Snake was assisted through codec by Major Tom, his commander, paramedic, a woman in charge of keeping track of his health, and she pretty much serves as the mailing. Okay, you got if you actually haven't played the other games, I guess you won't get that reference. She's the woman that saves your game, and the boss. All of these being code names. The boss is a very, very important character, not just to Snake, but to the whole Metal Gear saga. She is Snake's mother figure and his mentor. She is a legendary soldier of the CIA, and it was thanks to her and her Cobra unit that the Allies won World War II in the Metal Gear Solid universe. Together, she and Snake both developed CQC, Close Quarters Combat, which is a system of combined combat techniques that allows for quick alteration between armed and hand-to-hand combat. Snake mentions that it's been 5 years, 72 days, and 18 hours since he last saw her. Yeah, they definitely had a close relationship. She said that this was because she was on a top-secret mission, one she never really explains. After rescuing Sokolov, Snake is confronted by Russian KGB soldiers. However, Major Ocelot appears before them and eliminates them all with ease. Ocelot is the commander of the Ocelot unit, which is part of Spetsnaz. And Spetsnaz, I'm probably saying that really bad, Spetsnaz, is a special forces unit that is part of GRU, GRU. GRU is a military intelligence agency in the Soviet Union, which was granted full independence from any other agency in the Soviet Union. This sparked a rivalry between GRU and the KGB being a domestic surveillance agency in the Soviet Union. So we have a bit of a civil conflict going in Russia between GRU and the KGB. They both want Sokolov for their own needs, but you also have the US trying to take Sokolov, that being us. Anyways, after Major Ocelot eliminates the KGB soldiers, he calls the rest of his unit in a very embarrassing manner. I mean, I understand that he does it because they're the Ocelot unit, you know, cats, felines, but still. Either way, after Ocelot mocks Snake in front of his unit in a high school jock kind of way, he says, if you're not the boss, then die, and tries to shoot him, but his gun jams on him, giving Snake the opportunity to take him and his unit out. Apparently Ocelot was planning on meeting the boss there, not Snake. Interesting. After telling Ocelot that his technique is more suited for a revolver and not an automatic pistol, Snake says,
"But that was some fancy shooting. You're pretty good."
And Ocelot simply repeats,
"Pretty good,"
before passing out. In the midst of all this, Sokolov ran away, so Snake goes out and finds him. When he finds him, Sokolov tells Snake that his family is in the US. He also informs him that the KGB and GRU are trying to use him to create the Shagohod, a giant tank designed to be able to carry an intercontinental ballistic missile, an ICBM, and fire it from anywhere. However, the ICBM of the 60s were too large for the Shagohod to carry because of the large rocket propeller necessary to reach intercontinental distances. This is when Sokolov came up with Phase 2. Phase 2 was a plan to attach rocket boosters to the Shagohod itself. This would allow it to go up to 300 miles per hour before launching. Instead of firing an ICBM, they would fire an intermediate range ballistic missile, an IRBM. An IRBM is much smaller, but can't be fired fast enough to reach America. However, because the Shagohod can now reach 300 miles per hour before firing the IRBM, the warhead is able to launch at speeds high enough to reach America. The only downside being that it would need at least 3 miles of flat land. After receiving this information, Snake and Sokolov continued down a rope bridge. It is here that he runs into the boss. Surprised to see her, Snake asks her what she's doing there, and she states that she will be taking Sokolov from him. It is at this moment that Sokolov is apprehended by the Cobra unit and taken into a helicopter. Then, Yevgeny Borisovich Volgin appears behind the boss. Volgin is the commander of GRU and wants to seize control of Russia by overthrowing the first secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, Nikita Khrushchev. If his large stature wasn't intimidating enough, he also seems to possess electrical abilities that seem to derive from his suit. It is at this point that we realize that the boss has defected to the Soviet Union. Her gifts to her new host, Volgin, were Sokolov and a Davy Crockett, which is essentially a recoilless miniature nuclear missile that can be fired and carried by hand. After a dialogue, Snake and the boss get into a CQC fight. She dismantles his gun and breaks his elbow by bending his arm backwards, and he lands no hits on her. When Volgin tries to kill Snake, the boss stops him and says, "He's my apprentice.
I'll take care of him."
She holds out her arm to Snake and says, "Jack," Snake's real name, "you can't come with us." She then pulls him in close to her, at which point he grabs her bandana and throws him over the bridge into a large fall that leads to a river. Snake, unable to get over the boss's betrayal, now wears her bandana for the rest of the next few games. Snake wakes up at the edge of the river and manages to treat his wounds. Major Tom tells him that they will send a recovery balloon to rescue him. During this time, we learn that Volgin and Ocelot, who still looks upset about Snake defeating him, have captured whom they believe to be Sokolov's lover. She tries to kill them with a gun that looks like a lipstick, making Ocelot wonder if she's part of the KGB, since those type of undercover weapons are normal in the KGB. Nevertheless, they keep her alive since they may be able to use her. At this point, Volgin uses the Davy Crockett missile to nuke Sokolov's research facility. Ocelot tries to stop him, saying,
"Even if they are our enemies, they're still our countrymen."
To which Volgin states that the blame will fall on the boss. At this point, the Virtuous mission ends. I will end this video here because it was longer than I thought it would be. I'll try to stick more to the facts from now on and less with small details, but that's the problem with Metal Gear Solid. The small details sometimes matter in the grand scheme of things. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. My next video will be on Operation Snake Eater. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe, like, and share with anyone that might be interested in this story. Talk to you guys later. Peace.